Welcome to the Beyond Layers podcast about trends in additive manufacturing, especially professional 3D printing and 3D scanning.
"3D printing a whole liver." I thought that was just sci-fi stuff. Turns out it's not as far-fetched as we might think.
It's amazing, isn't it? The medical field is changing so rapidly, and 3D printing, especially the selective laser sintering, is really pushing the boundaries.
I've heard a term, but honestly, I need a bit of a tech breakdown. What makes SLS stand out?
Think of it like this. It uses a laser to melt a special powder, usually nylon, and builds the object layer by tiny layer.
Okay, I'm picturing a super precise 3D printer, but instead of those plastic figurines, we're talking about, well, organs.
Exactly, and because it uses a laser, it doesn't need those support structures that other 3D printers use.
So more intricate designs, right?
Exactly, and with SLS, you can get incredibly detailed and complex shapes, which is essential for medical applications. And the Czech Republic is really becoming a hub for this kind of innovation.
You're right. I keep reading about their work with SLS, especially at that institute. What is it?
The Institute for Clinical and Experimental Medicine, ICHEM.
ICHEM, right. What's the story there?
They're doing some truly groundbreaking stuff. They're a leading center for organ transplants, and they've started using SLS to create 3D models of patients' organs directly from their CT scans.
Wait, so they can print a replica of your liver? That's incredible. But why go through the process of creating a physical model? Wouldn't looking at the CT scan on a computer be enough?
It's a great question. And the answer lies in the power of visualization and tactile feedback. Imagine you're a surgeon about to perform a complex liver operation.
Okay, I'm imagining it'd be pretty intense.
It is intense. Now, a CT scan gives you a flat two-dimensional image, right? But with a 3D model, the surgeon can hold the organ, rotate it, examine it from all angles.
So it's like having a roadmap, but even better because you can physically interact with it.
Precisely. They can plan the surgery down to the millimeter, see the exact location of critical structures. It drastically reduces the risk of complications.
That's incredible. So they're using these models before surgery, but is that it?
Oh, no, it goes even further. They actually use the models during the surgery.
Wow, that is really next level stuff. But it's not just about these physical models, right? I read something about ICANN combining them with VR technology.
You're right. They're on the cutting edge of combining 3D printed models with virtual reality for preoperative planning.
Talk about being prepared.
What?
But this level of technology, it makes me wonder, is this only happening in specialized fields like organ transplants?
That's a really interesting question, and it leads us to our next point.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
You know, ICHEM's work is remarkable. It really is.
Yeah.
But SLS, it's not limited to just hospitals and medical research. It's really making waves in a lot of industries.
Oh, really? Like what? I'm curious to hear some examples outside of healthcare.
Okay, so picture this. We were talking about the Czech Republic, right? Well, just next door in Slovakia, there's a company called eRobots. And they're using SLS in a totally different field.
eRobots, what do they do? They're all about automation robotics. You know, that kind of cutting edge stuff. They've really embraced SLS to create specialized parts for their robots. And the speed at which they can do it, it's impressive.
So we're talking custom-made robot parts here. That's pretty high-tech. What's the turnaround time like?
Well, they had this one situation. They needed a crucial part. It was a filtration block for one of their projects. Now, if they had to go through the usual channels of ordering from a manufacturer, who knows how long it would have taken? Weeks, months maybe. But with their SLS printer, they designed it, printed it, and had it ready to use in 3 days.
3 days. From design to finished part. That's unheard of. I can only imagine how valuable that is in a field like robotics, where everything is constantly evolving.
It really is a game changer. SLS gives companies like eRobots this agility. You know, they're not stuck waiting around for other companies to deliver. They're in control of their own production, which is a huge advantage in today's market.
That's amazing to think about.
Yeah.
But is this only for these big companies with lots of resources? What about the average person?
That's the exciting thing about SLS. It's becoming much more accessible. It's not just for these big corporations anymore.
Okay, so you're telling me even I could benefit from SLS? Give me a real-world example.
All right. Imagine you're on a road trip, right? You've got your caravan all packed up, ready for adventure, and suddenly your door handle breaks.
Oh no, the caravan door handle, that's every traveler's nightmare. You're in the middle of nowhere. What do you do?
In the past, you'd be stuck. You'd have to search high and low for a replacement part.
Yeah.
Or try some makeshift fix. But with SLS, there's a whole new solution.
Let me guess. Someone 3D printed a new door handle.
You got it. They took the old broken handle, scanned it to make a digital model, and then used an SLS printer to create a brand new one, made from that super strong nylon we talked about earlier.
So a quick fix A&D, a more durable part. How much did that cost them?
The best part, the new handle was actually stronger than the original, and it cost less than half the price of buying a new one from a manufacturer.
Now that's what I call a win-win. So we've got life-saving medical models, super fast robot parts, and even caravan rescues, all thanks to SLS printing. Pretty impressive for one technology, right?
And we've only scratched the surface of what SLS can do. But I think it's important to take a step back and really understand why this technology is causing such a buzz. Why is it so revolutionary?
Okay, yeah, let's break down why SLS is such a big deal. Because from where I'm sitting, it sounds almost like magic, you know? Life-saving models, robot parts in days, even fixing a door handle on the fly. What's the secret sauce here?
It's easy to get caught up in all the cool applications, for sure. But at its core, SLS is revolutionary for a few key reasons.
Hit me with the bullet points.
All right. Number one, speed. We've talked about it a bit already, but the speed with which you can go from idea to physical object with SLS is incredible compared to traditional manufacturing.
Yeah, we're talking a fraction of the time, right? Like weeks down to days.
Even faster in some cases. We're talking about creating some complex parts in a matter of hours. That's unheard of with traditional methods.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Especially in fields where getting a product out there quickly is essential.
Exactly. And then the second thing is the design freedom. SLS can handle some really intricate designs, internal structures, things that would be impossible or crazy expensive to make any other way. It opens up a world of possibilities for designers and engineers.
So basically, the sky's the limit as far as what you can design and print.
Pretty much. And third, SLS is surprisingly cost-effective, especially for, like you were saying, one-off designs or smaller production runs. No need for those expensive molds or tooling. You just design it digitally and print it.
So this is a game changer for smaller companies then. Startups, individual innovators.
Absolutely. It really levels the playing field in manufacturing. You don't need to be a huge corporation with tons of resources to take advantage of this technology anymore.
It's like you said earlier, it's becoming more and more accessible.
Yeah.
So for our listeners who are now totally fascinated by SLS, what's the one big takeaway you hope they walk away with today?
I think the main thing to remember is that SLS isn't just some cool new tech. It's really a fundamental shift in how we think about making things, how we solve problems. It's here to stay, and it's only going to get bigger.
I'm with you on that. SLS printing is definitely a game changer. Well, that was fascinating. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the world of SLS printing. The future is being printed as we speak.